It's a much different animal in news than it was in the 1950s or 60s when, news divisions lost huge amounts of money, but they were designed to deliver news. That's sort of a foreign idea now. Now they're designed to build an audience, whatever you can do to build an audience. And so, I don't know how people go to believe that there's a pizza ring from Hillary Clinton, but they certainly did. And I know people that, I sat down with a woman, by the way, I interviewed her, and she told me that Joe Biden was a pedophile and that Hillary Clinton was a pedophile. I said, Joe Biden's a pedophile, huh? And she says, he is. And I said, so you're saying he has sex with kids? And she says, oh, I don't know anything about that, but he's a pedophile. And I thought, well, that's something. I said, now, are you in QAnon? She says, oh, I follow Q. And I didn't even know the conversation. I didn't know what to do with that. I wasn't even sure how to even go from there, so I just kind of let the conversation end.
Critical race theory is poison.
These are people who hate white people?
There is now a white fear industrial complex.
Mexican criminals, Black Lives Matter terrorists,
radical Islamic terrorism,
where many people get very rich and very powerful by telling white America that they are under constant assault.
Who was the person or persons that you really wanted in the documentary, Trump aside, that you're unable to get?
I wanted Barack Obama. They shut me down immediately. That's a great question. I wanted Stephen Miller. I bugged him. I got his cell phone. I texted him. He wouldn't do it. Getting Steve Bannon is a funny story if anybody wants to know that. He yells at you when you've done Bannon. No. Oh, I'll give you his number if you want to text him. So he yelled at me. He yelled at me a lot, and then he said, and then the whole PBS thing was happening, and he's like, yeah, see, you're not even going to be on PBS anymore. And I was like, well, I kind of actually pulled it from PBS before they had a chance to pull it from me. That's sort of like, well, I'm leaving. You can't fire me. I quit. I kind of did that with him. And he was, I said, well, listen, I'm going to interview Hillary Clinton, and you should be in the film. And he pauses, and Bannon goes, you're going to interview Hillary? He's got this, obsession with Hillary. It's really a little creepy. He's got pictures of her in his house. And they're insulting pictures. They're like showing her in these really, inappropriate, not sexually inappropriate, but inappropriate positions, someone making fun of her or something. And then when I'm interviewing him, he's like, I really want to destroy her politically. And I was like, well, the pause between that and the word politically is really obsessional strange. Anyway, so he goes, all right, if you get Hillary, then I'll do the interview. So I did the interview with Hillary, and then we come down from the hotel, and I'm eating lunch here right after the interview, and she's maybe right there. And I take my selfie, and I didn't want her to know I'm texting with Bannon. I felt so sleazy, and I here, Bannon, here's me and Hillary, and I sent him the photo. I'm and it's me and Hillary smiling, And he's like, fine, I'll do the interview. So then we go to his house, and he's actually very nice in person, but and it's these what are they called? What do you call them here? Brownstones. Anyway. And there are all these houses in Washington, and they all have flowers, except in front of his house, all the flowers were dead. So that was my Bannon story. But those were the ones. Barack, Stephen Miller, David Axelrod would interview with me, which I thought was really weird. There were a couple other Trump guys we tried to get, some operatives. I never went after Donald himself. Oh, I emailed J.D. Vance. I had his email at the time. And I was like, but I didn't think he would be... I thought he'd be more kind of marginal about the whole conversation, and he wasn't. I could think of some others, but that's a good question.
We will never, ever surrender to the woke mob.
Tapping into white grievance and anxiety.
You're just overwhelmed by the lies.
Chaos in the streets, in the schools.
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
If you put out information and you have force multipliers that just drive it, people will start to absorb it themselves.
For $20, which ethnic group will be targeted by the Trump administration in 2028? And my answer is, right. So he's going to have cycled through the Muslims. He will have cycled through the immigrants. I'm sure he's going to come back to the blacks. That's uncharted territory. I think he's going to go after the Jews. I think he's going to expand the color chart to include LGBTQ people. And I think he's going to never stop on the trans thing. I think the guy can't. Their cruelty is so central to this, and when they can, I feel like what they want to do is not just exploit people about it, but they want to hurt the victim in the process, and it turns my stomach, frankly. But I think that the Jews are a little bit safe right now, but I worry about. I don't know. I keep thinking the grandson and the friends and him being from New York is going to save us, but I go back and forth on that one.